Hi guys, my name is Ann and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a 5D messenger, an intuitive guide, and a transformation coach. And what I would like to do today is to unravel what has been going on really from a grounded level and really directed to somebody who may be coming in somewhat new to this situation. Now, I know that this will not resonate with everybody, and that's okay. You can turn it off now. But if you're interested in sort of a high-level overview on some of the things that are going on to give you perhaps some perspective on what to expect and why it's happening, then I hope that you stay with me on this little discussion and journey. So the first thing is that most likely if you are watching this, you will have recognized that something in you has changed. You may feel differently. You would definitely know that something is different and maybe have been guided specifically to YouTube, to me in particular, or to other resources out there trying to understand what exactly is happening. You have the sense that something is different and you're trying to put your finger on what it is and why exactly is this happening to you. Well, congratulations, because you have been chosen and selected to ride on this journey. You are here for a specific purpose. You are here to learn more about your purpose and maybe more about some of the things that have happened in your life, because everything has happened for a very particular reason. I am an intuitive astrologist, but I'm not going to go into the specifics of that at this point in time. I will, however, say that the planetary alignments that we have been experiencing over the past little while have been extraordinary and unique in their own way, really supporting a shift to higher consciousness. So we are seeing more and more people awakening at really record rates. So this is a very exciting and a changing time for this planet. You're going to notice a shift in many areas of your life. And these are areas where you need to maybe sit back, observe, and slowly get a better understanding of exactly where things are at and why. So one example would be in your relationships. So what I found is the dynamics of your relationships tend to shift quite significantly. The people that you have been quite closely associated with in the past, you may feel a different vibration, if you will, with those people. You may find a lack of connection, or you may find yourself closer and more of a connection with some people more than others. So you're really going to see a shift, a very dynamic shift in your relationships, and some which will leave you quite confused. And I'm going to tell you to not be too alarmed by that, because you, in fact, are shifting, which has a ripple effect in your life and those things going on within your life. I strongly suggest that you sit back, absorb, and observe initially the relationship status in your life, and maybe avoid people who tend to negatively impact you. There's a video on that already up on my YouTube channel. You will notice perhaps that your body doesn't feel the way it once used to. There are a lot of various physical ramifications around this process we'll call awakening, or the rising in your consciousness. Specifically, body aches and pains. This tends to affect all ages. If you are a fairly healthy person, you will notice things that may make you a little concerned, but they are fairly common. Certainly, I recommend, if you are at times in any question or doubt, that you see your family doctor to get things checked out. But some very common ones that I have experienced, and I know a lot of other people that I've been associated with have also experienced, which is a lot of body aches and pains just generally. I know that I had certain strange feeling in my head initially. This actually is where your third eye is located. Headaches, sore feet, sore hips, sore chest. So as your heart chakra is opening, you may feel heart palpitations. Your chest may feel tight. Be very cautious. This is a very common thing, but every situation is different and unique. So realize that is likely going to happen, because that happens to be a very common symptom of this journey. Just be aware. Sore throat, vision problems at times, sore shoulders, to name a few. So these come and go throughout this process. The next thing is sleeping habits definitely shift and change throughout this process as well. Again, I'm keeping this very general because there are people that may be watching this that are all at very different stages of this journey. There is no cookie cutter, there is no exact way. It does affect everybody differently. Certainly, tiredness or over exertion is a common symptom, and you may bounce back between both. Some days having just an unbelievable amount of energy, such that you're bouncing off the walls and need to be careful in how you're channeling it to not fall back on old and abusive behaviors, because you don't know what it is. And what it is your frequency increasing within your body, and that needs to be positively channeled and not covered and buried with habits that may not be the best for your health. The other part is sleeping patterns shift and change. So you may find yourself, I know with me, is a very tiring process, because you're actually, whether you know it or not, processing a great deal of information. Your body is going through a massive change and shift. This is going to affect you in ways that will be quite shocking, especially if you are used to a very steady routine and very specific patterns and ways of living. You will certainly experience a very large amount of, I'm going to call, emotional turmoil. It is varies. Initially, there is a lot of anxiety. So you go through these stages of great anxiety. Then there is also a series of depression. So I'm not making this a great, grand, fun story, am I? But I really want to be very practical and specific in what I'm sharing here, because it is something to be aware of as you're going through this, and as you experience these things, to know that you're not alone. It's very important to keep that in mind, because you start, and sometimes when you are in those low down periods, you need to have that understanding that we've all been there, and that hopefully will help somebody out there realize that this is part of the process, and hang in there, because it does pass. What is actually happening? Well, let me just move forward before I tell you what is actually happening. So there was a bit of a roller coaster ride emotionally, and let's talk about that. So why is this happening? Well, what's happening is you are becoming conscious. So you're becoming aware of your true beingness. You're becoming aware of your true essence. You are becoming aware of and running on your own mindset. What has controlled you in the past has been contributed to by your childhood programming, by what you've been consuming, and certainly by the people around you, as well as what you have been eating, your physical, your routines, your emotional status. Things are all connected. But you are becoming initially aware of, like, wow, what? It's like, who am I? So what happens is, it's not a quick overnight process. This takes time, because it can have quite dramatic effects. I mean, if this happened in one day, I don't know who could actually manage the amount of change that happens. Certainly it depends a lot on your background. But we are purging our old selves. We are coming face to face with buried feelings, emotions that we have held inside quite often since birth, and even in other lifetimes in some cases for some people. This can be a very painful experience to try and, when that comes rising, to know how to deal with it. And that's probably the hardest part of this process, because there isn't a specific way on how to deal with it. Each person has to kind of manage it in their own way. Certainly there are tools out there, but the process really is about self-introspection, self-healing, self-awareness. So a lot of selves, but this whole thing is about yourself. There are some very good experts online that help you uncover the traumatic trauma that may have existed in your life, that you're coming face to face with, that may have been something that you have been in denial about. So you can see why this may be taking you on an emotional roller coaster. So really what happens is, I look at it as a series of staircases. So you climb up a set, and then you get to a flat level, and then you climb up a set, and then you get to a flat level, and then you climb up a set, and then you get to a flat level. So you reach different stages, and each time you reach the next platform, you have cleared some important emotional baggage, and you feel clarity, and often that is just quite an amazing, beautiful feeling that can't really not be described. but you start to feel your vibration in your body potentially increase. It affects people differently. For me personally, very much affected by the vibrational frequencies, and I feel them in me all the time. But you reach these platforms of awareness, and you continue to do that. So then you'll go through climbing the next set of stairs, where you investigate other things, and then reach the platform, and so on and so on. So each time you do this, you're clearing or purging, you're doing shadow work, whatever terminology you identify with. You are clearing out old programs. So programs are what you're used to running on. So your 3D self is used to running on a set of programs. These are quite often belief systems and patterns that have been established in you since childhood. So your childhood plays an incredibly important role. And so many of us have, buried deep down inside some things and may not even be aware of. So this all takes time. But you're clearing programs related to childhood, to belief systems, and even to what society has sort of made you believe. So, when you are indulging in activities with people, or in particular, media has such a large role to play in this. The television you watch, the social media that you follow, the news that you follow, what you engage in on a daily basis has a huge, huge impact on defining you as a person, and reinforcing, in many cases, reinforcing programs that you are no longer requiring and no longer sort of believe in, because you are moving into a higher consciousness. So that's really what the gist of this whole thing is. It's really releasing old programming. Because as we reach into higher levels of consciousness, we cannot take all of that old programming with us. We are coming into ourselves. We are self-actualizing. We are becoming who we were meant to be, and see things the way we were meant to see things. So the programming really is supporting your suppression, and the higher consciousness energies are looking for you to engage in self-understanding. So as you clear that old stuff out, it makes room for new knowledge and awareness to come in. And this just happens. So what happens is you'll start getting indications. You have to start really being aware of your surroundings and aware of messages that magically appear. Quite often at the beginning, it's certainly in numbers. So 1010, 1111, 222, you name it, they will start to appear in your life in very strange ways. Also what you're directed to, signs on the road. There are a whole lot and a whole host of ways that you are being supported. So you have to be open to that. And if you're still watching this, then I know that you are. Be aware, be very aware. So, as you go through this, you are releasing old programming, new stuff, good stuff is coming in. Your body frequency is changing. So, as we rise in consciousness, as we remove the old programming, our frequencies increase. Okay, so our energetic frequencies increase within the body, and that heals the body. That is our whole driving system, is through our chakra system. As we clear that old energy out through our purging process, as we adopt healthier lifestyle habits, as we enjoy life, as we increase our frequency with happy, joyful, energizing activities, and remove from our life negative, suppressing activities, anger, frustration, that kind of thing, as we manage and we start to understand that we are actually in control of how we respond to things, and that we are in control of how we are responsible for really everything that's happened in our lives. And we are also responsible for having the courage to move forward with a greater sense of purpose, and to really dig deep, because this is an evolution of this planet, and it requires a whole other level and version of you. Now, this is a very positive thing, but as you begin through initial stages of this process, it sure does not feel that way. But I can tell you, you do experience those plateaus, and you really, you keep going, and more awareness comes into light. Now, this is all free will. You are in charge of you. So it is all how you want to operate and the rules that you want to play by. That's, initially, in general terms, what the process is about. The planets and the alignments provide the opportunity that for us to dig deep in some cases. They are in a certain position where they may pull you down into sort of a real sense of depth of yourself, where you got to kind of sit there and investigate things for a while. And they pull you into places that you get new sense of self and new ideas. You get new energy that is different energy, and it's kind of exciting. So this is an ongoing thing, because they are constantly moving and shifting, and especially your personal planets. So this is a whole big picture, and as it's very important to me to help you understand and help you transform yourself, because as we transform ourselves, we transform the world. So, the most important thing is to keep your eye on yourself and how you're feeling, and really to try and not focus on perhaps negativity that may be trying to pull you back in. And how you want to tell people and deal with this is really, this is all your own responsibility. I know with me, I kept a lot of it to myself initially. I found people that I could associate with that were on the same frequency as me and going through some of the same things, but they weren't necessarily in my own circle. Now, as you get more confidence, you feel better about yourself. And there's a greater cause and reason for all of this. I will do another video, and I'm going to focus really on people and relationships, perhaps very specifically on perhaps trauma that may have affected your life that it can overcome. So I hope this helps somebody. I'm really trying to make this, useful and practical, and really kind of give you, some idea that these are all things that we have all that have gone through this and who are going through this are experiencing. So thank you so much for watching, and keep up the good work. Have a great day.